Hello everyone, welcome back to 1 Pound to Freedom. Thank you guys for watching our videos. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for all your likes. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for just making us and helping us grow as a channel. My name is Penny and my husband's name is Tale, and together we are 1 pound to freedom. And our definition of freedom is being back home, relaxed in our retirement home. And yeah, Tale, do you want to greet the community?
Welcome guys, and let's go back home.
So, talking of moving back to Zimbabwe, like we are planning, our topic today is because we're always talking about this, because obviously this is our future, this is our tomorrow, so we keep constantly going back to the drawing board, looking at where we want to be, where we want to go, where we are right now, and trying to avoid some of the mistakes that have other people have done when they relocated back to Zimbabwe. So we've come up with a list of things that we are trying to avoid. So hence the topic of today, which is mistakes made when people move back to Zimbabwe. So we're just going to be talking about some of these mistakes and ways that we think can help try to avoid those mistakes, to just make sure that your transition back to your home country, for us Zimbabwe, is smoother.
And to those who have already relocated, please feel free to share some of the mistakes that you've encountered.
True.
As for us, we are sharing those mistakes that
we are trying to avoid.
And probably some of those that we've encountered.
Yes. So before we moved to the UK, my husband used to have a very lovely job. He was a man of suits. He worked in a big company, Old Mutual. It was great. Life was great. And when we were thinking of relocating, one of the mistakes that we realized, number one, is we also don't want to do that, but people kind of romanticize life back in Zimbabwe. When you think of Zimbabwe, we start thinking of what it was before we moved here, and we think we're going back to that. So
you said mistake number one is what?
Romanticizing life back in Zimbabwe.
That's true. That's true.
We think of the good things.
We always, we think of good things, the good memories, how we used to do it, how Zimbabwe used to be there back then when all things were going well, and we forget the reality.
Exactly. So I think that's one mistake that we're hoping we'll be able to avoid. Thinking of life in Zim as it was before, thinking of the relationships that we had with friends and some of the family, thinking of maybe the cars that we used to drive back then.
It could be the way it was when we were there, but doesn't mean when we go back we're just going to easily catch up and start from where we left. So we need to face the realities on the ground.
And what are some of the realities on the ground that you might think of off the top of your head that we might forget?
Right, you might think now we are here, there are some things that we think they just need to be like this. There are some things we think they are granted and they must be the way they are. Back home, it's more like here, even the power cuts. You might think magesa from Garango Rico. But it's very rare.
And you might even forget the frustration of spending the whole day without electricity, and maybe magetoya around 10 p.m. and by 5 a.m.
Yes.
Though maybe power cuts are not as much, or maybe a bit better now, but still, it's still a reality on the ground.
Yes.
There are a lot of power cuts back home.
Even infrastructure, here we might take it for granted that it is what it is and it must be like this. Back home, you need to remember, I used to travel from Chiredzi to Harare to Chiredzi. The roads were just bad. sometimes you end up avoiding going. You end up going from Harare, going to Shreds. You end up going via Masvingo.
Just looking for a better route, which is maybe longer, but you'd rather spend more time driving than use the shorter route, which has bad roads.
So all those frustrations, you must also think about them.
And even things like healthcare. You need to invest into medical aid, because if, God forbid, something is to happen to you or your children, you can't really rely on the public hospitals to give you the best.
It will be good if you are still in a good condition, all this stuff. But the realities of now, when you're growing older, there are some chronic illnesses. You know, that needs proper care and attention with good facilities in terms of health facilities.
That's true. And also things like even the systems, admin systems, just trying to get a birth certificate might take longer than you would want, or just trying to get maybe simple things, access to something. You know, the systems, admin systems actually back home can be frustrating.
True.
Think of the Wi-Fi, how slow or terrible Wi-Fi might be, and you want to rely on the Wi-Fi to do your job, to post a video, to do something, but it's just taking time. So
it's a point that we need to consider before going back home, so that you be able to fit in accordingly. That's what is there on the ground. As much as it is frustrating, if you want to go back home, it means in that chaos, in that frustration, you need to be able to fit in.
Very true. All right. So the second mistake that we are trying to avoid, that maybe some people were not able to plan properly for, is not having a solid financial plan. Like some people will save up towards going back home, but when they're going home, they've got a lump sum of money, maybe 20,000 savings to use. But then remember, this is money just that you have saved and you're going to be using. But have you planned for your income?
Very true. You might save and then forget that there's savings and then there's income.
Yeah.
So you might rely on your savings, but to what extent? For how long? So at a point in time, savings will deplete. Now income now comes into play.
Yeah, so you kind of need to plan for your income.
Yes.
You know, have a solid financial plan. And the other thing also is underestimating the cost of living in US dollars. Of course, you've got your house, you've got everything, you're not paying those bills, but life in Zimbabwe is expensive. From experience, when we went there, money is like US dollars, they fly.
Yeah,
they fly when you're in Zimbabwe. You've got $100. Once you change it, it becomes loose, it's gone.
Yes.
So you kind of need to prepare yourself and plan towards that even though you'd have prepared yourself to cut on cost of living, but like in terms of bills, paying rentals and stuff, but living on its own, buying food, groceries, traveling, fuel. Right now, there was an analysis on fuel hikes, like prices going up in Southern Africa. And most of the countries, my husband was telling me that they increased their prices because of the whole Middle East crisis. So fuel has gone up everywhere, even here in the UK. But in Southern Africa, some of the countries raised their prices with 3% raises or 5%. But in Zim, it was 39%.
So there's a tendency, actually, maybe with Zimbabwe, people now have got a tendency, and maybe it's not something in us that we are now used to that inflationary kind of living, and people tend to normalize that.
Yeah, but it's a bit much. That's the truth.
A bit much.
And if you haven't planned it and you don't have any money coming in, which means you've got, for example, people are saying combis were $1 before this, but now some places are $2, which is like shorter distances. The rest are $3, $4. So these are expensive. If you're going to be going to town every day, you kind of need to have $10 maybe a day or $5, and you need to have an income for you to be able to.
Yeah, we should not underestimate the cost of living in Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
it might shock you, thinking, no, I've got this money. It might shock you.
You might think 20,000 will take you a long time, but you'll be surprised in a year you would have finished spending that money in Zimbabwe. So whilst it's great to move back home like you're doing, also have a solid financial plan.
Yeah, even though we are planning to have some streams of income, I think the best way maybe when going back home, we need not to go back home and expect to earn a living from those streams of income.
Especially during the
straight
first
away.
year.
Probably 6 months to 12 months.
Yeah.
You have some savings to cover your expenses for that period.
Whilst your businesses are growing, so that any money you're making from whatever business you're doing, you're injecting back into the business for it to grow, and you're not using that for your day-to-day expenses.
Yeah, because ukamirira kuti ukikandire bwatojika ipapo inokunonokera.
All right, so the third mistake that would also we have managed to avoid this mistake, but we did also have a few problems here and there, but they are not something that we can really say, oh, we had an issue. But I've seen other people's videos, other people's channels where they talk that they really had issues with this, and this is one mistake that you might try to look at and try to avoid, like starting to build a house without a proper oversight. For example, you trust the wrong builder. They tell you they've done this when they haven't done what they've done. Or secondly, you're sending money home, but there's no accountability. You're not getting your receipts back. You're not getting videos of what's happening. You don't even have the contracts. So all these things can cost you in the long run, whereby some people have gone back on the ground to look for their buildings only to find maybe it was built wrongly. That is, if at all, there is a building.
True.
So how can you avoid this? Like if you're going to be building back in Zimbabwe and you cannot be there.
If you're not there, I think for starters, you just need someone reliable on the ground. Someone reliable on the ground. I don't know what means you're going to do or going to use to just vet that this person is reliable. But definitely you need someone who is just like you, who understands what you want, who is on the ground. And they have constant communication. You have constant updates. If possible, videos, get receipts, invoices sent to you. You have the feel of it. From afar. And if it's difficult for you to find anybody, because sometimes you might not even have anyone, make your research into companies who are now building for people in the diaspora. I think one of the countries is called Bamlo, if I'm not mistaken. I like this one because I've heard many good things about it, and they've been building even socialite houses. These people, you can go into contract with them. You can have a payment plan for them. They can build your house in stages depending with how much money you have. So at least you've got a place to go. You know, you're not giving your money to somebody to go and then buy building material. These people will do everything for you. So just do due diligence when it comes to building in Zimbabwe. You know, due diligence is important. Very true.
Because sometimes if you're not hands-on, things will just go wrong and you won't even know where to go or who to talk to. So be careful. Be careful about building back home. You'll be disappointed. But don't be scared. You can do it. And then another mistake that people do is ignoring paperwork and legal details. For example, you're buying stands in different places, and then you just rely on word of mouth. Stand dara.
Due diligence. It's painful actually to see a 4-bedroom house, a very big house, just going to the ground. Kanzuri yauya yakunzi taakupwanya panapa makawaka pasiripo makazowaka pa wetland. So you need to be careful.
Sometimes it's expensive. It's expensive to look for a lawyer, property lawyers who look into the land barons, but in the long run it might be cheaper because it's better for you to spend money on someone who can be on the ground and verify that this land is authentic before you give somebody your money, than for you to buy a place where it's not legal, you build your house and you lose it.
And the legal way, even though you've secured the land properly, another thing also in terms of documentation, legality of things, you have contracts.
Yes, contracts, and you have your title deeds, proper title deeds that you can send somebody to the council to verify, is this land in my name? Have the proper paperwork.
In contract, I was saying contract with the builders.
Oh yeah, you need definitely
have a side contract. If things go wrong,
yes,
you've got somewhere where you can legally refer
exactly, and you can sue them for breach of contract. But if it's just communicating on the phone, so when things go wrong, you can't even go and report them because you don't have any legal documentation to say what you're saying is correct. You see, they can always say, this person didn't pay us, so that's why we didn't finish the job. So yeah, it's always good to make sure everything is legal, everything is documented, and don't rely on word of mouth. And then the fifth mistake to avoid is cutting ties with the diaspora too quickly. Like you just wake up and just say, we're going. You quit your job, you close your bank accounts, you burn bridges, and you go.
This was from those who relocated before. That's what they've been saying. Don't cut ties too early. Yeah, sometimes there might be a back and forth, trying to mop up whatever the benefits from this end, trying to move them there. So it's not like an overnight thing. Just resign the job tomorrow. You're on the airplane. You're going back home.
And someone saying that one spouse can move home first. Like you've set everything down, everything that you need, and everything is sorted. One can go be on the ground, make sure that when the other spouse is moving back with the family, they have already prepared the house, they've prepared everything. Everything's already prepared, but at least have somebody on the ground just to make the transition smoother. Don't close your bank accounts too quickly. You might need those bank accounts in the future for maybe other transactions or business transactions in the diaspora where you used to be. So yeah, so their advice was just
have a smooth transition.
Have a smooth transition. You've already set your minds on relocating, so don't be in a rush at the last minute. And then the other thing is that most people, this also came from somebody who relocated back to Zimbabwe a few years back. They say that people make a mistake of underestimating the mental adjustments of moving back home from the diaspora. Like they say, there's actually a reverse culture shock, which is very real.
Yeah, especially if you're someone who was actually out of touch or completely out of touch with the Zimbabwean situation, like maybe for 10, 15 years, 20 years,
and you probably haven't been visiting as much.
You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You can get into depression. As much as people say UK, there's a lot of depression in UK.
You can also be depressed.
But you can fall into depression actually if you just do it abruptly. You need to
prepare
face
yourself
the reality.
Mentally.
Yes.
Because some say that whilst when you've moved back to Zimbabwe from the fast pace of the diaspora, you might find life very slow. Because life can be very slow in
Zimbabwe. If someone might go there with expectations thinking UK, Zimbabwe, it's just same thing. Platforms are very different. The ball game is all different. And
the other thing that they were saying is that you can even miss the convenience of being in the diaspora. Like if you want to, you can just order things online and they get delivered to you if you want. You can order from groceries, from food, anything can be ordered online here and delivered to your doorstep. But that's not really the case back home.
You need to be physically doing all that stuff.
Which can be tiring sometimes if you're not used to it. Going to the grocery stores,
$100 zvisina receipts and you remove someone who wants accountability. So madobasata mari aita $4 pamwe anga $2.
So all those things, like the whole convenience and structure that you're used to in the diaspora, it can really be a bit much for you back home because it's really not there, and it can be very frustrating as well. you know.
Very true.
And sometimes, like what Tale said, that sometimes you'd have spent 10, 15, 20 years in the diaspora, and it might take time for you to reintegrate again into like society, because most of the friends that you had before you moved back, some of them have died, some of them have moved on with their lives, some of them you're no longer friends with, you lost contact with along the way. The same with family members. You're not as close as you used to be with your brothers or your sisters, and there you come back, and you know there's this difference with you when you move back, and people who never left. People look at you differently, and people have expectations from you, and you're just starting also, because you know you're starting your life there as well. But so there can also be these frictions in trying to reintegrate again in society.
Yeah, there's a gap that you need to close.
What can you
properly.
do though? What can you do?
You might also go there feeling I'm from UK. People must know that I'm from UK, and you might actually give yourself pressure. You know, trying to think you must believe.
I know better.
You know,
Yeah.
So you need to know
Trying
how
to speak English.
close the
It's like,
gap.
you know what I mean? When we're in the UK, we used to, yeah.
You need to
And then
know
people
how
in
to
Zim will
close the
look at
gap.
you funny. You look like people in Zimka will look at you funny, like,
Yeah, they might have their expectation also from you. This was from UK.
So it means they're
least
coming with money, so you should take care of our
So
problems.
they might give you pressure. You might also be giving yourself pressure, self-pressure, pressure from the community, you know, the stuff. So that time to balance, the moment you realize it, something has already gone wrong.
Yeah.
And you're already frustrated, you just think, I need to go back. So yeah.
So most people will relocate back home, get so frustrated by everything going on, and move back to the diaspora. So many people have been back home, stayed for a year or two, and just realized no. People have gone back. I've watched so many people on YouTube. Some gone back to Australia where they were, some back in the UK. So I think you need to prepare not only physically in terms of the physical assets or financially, but also emotionally.
Mentally.
Prepare yourself. Be yourself, really.
Yeah.
Just be chilled, be cool, be yourself. Don't try too much. Live your life. You're doing this for yourself, not for people.
Yeah.
All right. And then another thing that also that was raised as an issue that has people have experienced was not aligning as a couple or as a family. One partner is ready to move back, but the other one is not.
Yeah, but for us to go through that mistake, it means you would have left that gap for long without proper communication and proper communication. Because from the word go, when you start building and doing all the stuff, it's something that one of you can easily tell it is Hadzimo. So yeah, it'll be good to realize that one of you to realize that if possible, try to sell the idea, convince each other, and be on the same page.
I think that's
because if you are not on the same page,
it's not
there's a lot of pulling actually will delay you and frustrate you.
It won't
in terms
work.
of progress wise.
In terms of relocating, you have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that people start being on the same page the very same day.
Yeah.
Someone might have this vision and might have this dream. Usually, it's the man who usually think, you know what, I think we'll do better if we relocate. In most cases, and sometimes it might take longer to convince your wife.
You can actually realize this is
your wife to be on the same page with you. But the more you sell your vision as the visionary in the house, the more you sell your vision, the more you sell the lifestyle, the more you sell to your partner. And if it has proper planning, eventually they'll be on board. And when you do things together.
Eventually, as if the wife is not working, and maybe if one of you is not working properly the UK way, he or she might not see the need. But if you are working the UK way, you don't
eventually you'll be like, makati rini ndipei date ne time because you get so tired. You're like, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of this. So yeah, on this issue, both of you need to be on the same page. That's the most important thing. And then our final point is that you don't have a clear purpose or plan. Some people move with a vague idea of moving and just say, we'll figure it out when we get there.
That will cause a lot of frustrations, because you are going into an entirely, totally different playground. So you need a clear plan. You need a clear blueprint to follow, because you'll be frustrated. Of course, yes, planning and all the stuff, things there might be some changes and all the stuff, but at least if you have a plan, you need, of course, some of the delays, or what is holding some people back from going back home, is that issue of trying to figure it out all.
Yeah.
So where am I going to be living? How is the house going to be like? Where am I going to do this? Where am I going to get my next dollar? Of course, as a person, you just need that laid out clearly, without any doubt. But again, if you want that to be clearly laid out, sometimes it might take forever. It might delay you, because sometimes what you think tomorrow might throw you a curveball. But at least if you've got a plan, that direction actually will shape you.
It will. And I also think that, like what, just adding on to what Tale has said, have the basics that you tell yourself, or you tell yourselves as a couple, that what I need, the needs are different from wants. What I need shelter, I need transportation, I need a source of income, I need this. But obviously you've got other wants, that maybe I'll need this to make myself more comfortable. But I need to make sure that the needs are met first before I relocate. That will give you a general, like, an idea, like, okay, fine, I might not have all the wants that I want, but I feel like with what we've done, what we've built, what we've set up, everything that we've done so far, we can now save, and the money we've saved, we can now say we can go and try to start our life in Zimbabwe. So it goes back to planning.
Because it's easy to get frustrated here, to say, especially if you are someone who wants to go back home. You can just be easily frustrated. Guys, let's just go.
This thing is, but don't also be, don't rush at the last minute, like you said before. You've already spent years building up towards this, saving and preparing for this. Give yourself a few more months just to clear everything and make sure you've got everything that you need. The wants will be,
put the basics into place.
The basics, everything else, obviously, because if you're gonna be doing your businesses, they should be taking care of you and giving you a better quality of life. But don't rush it at the last minute. Make sure you've got all your needs taken care of. So, is moving back home worth it, Tyler? With all these mistakes that we've cited, is it worth it?
And they go musha. To those who want to go back home, let's keep on encouraging each other. There's life in Zim.
There is life in Zim, and just plan your life, plan where you're gonna stay, how you're gonna get your income, and everything else will fall in place. All right, thank you guys for watching this video.
See you next time.
Of course, we'll see you next time. If you have any comments, drop them in the comment section, and have a beautiful day. Bye.